when we are discussing your applications or reviewing your applications, here are some questions that go through our minds. So has the applicant made the most coming from their context? Meaning, if you go to a very well-resourced high school, have you been able to be really active at that high school? Have you participated in extracurriculars, led some of those, come up with some initiatives? Have you made the most coming from where you're coming from, is what we're looking at. Has the student challenged themselves academically, and can they do the work at our college, and can they do it well? That's a big one for us because we don't want students to struggle, and we don't want students to spend all of their time in the library when they're not in the classroom. Because we have hundreds of extracurricular organizations on campus, it's really important for us that you come, you can do the work, you can engage with professors, engage with your classmates, but also be active outside of the classroom. Is the applicant going to contribute to class discussion? Is the applicant going to contribute to the greater community? And is there evidence for that? So we look at your extracurriculars in high school. Can we see that you are used to contributing outside of the classroom? We're going to ask ourselves, why is this college, why is this program a good fit for the applicant? Do people want to be around this person? That's also important because, as I mentioned, our campuses are mostly residential. So even if you only live on campus for 1 year, if you live on campus all 4 years, depending on the institution, you're going to be someone's roommate at some point. And we want to make sure people want to be around you, that you're a good person. We're looking for substance in the application, authenticity in the application. So beyond just, I want to go to the school so I can study this and get a good job, which is very valid. We want to go, okay, well, what else is there? How did you get interested in this topic? Why do you want to study it? What do you hope to do? Who are you as a person? What causes do you care about? I'm looking for a lot more information than just, what do you want to study from now on? And what are you going to do with it? Can we imagine the student on our campus? As I read through your whole application, my takeaway should be that I could envision you on my college campus. You've given me enough information, you've done enough research, you've shown me throughout that application that this college is the right fit for you. And also, lastly, did the student write this application on their own? So we just want to make sure that it's in your own words, that it's not your mom or your dad that wrote your essay for you, but that it's something that you put together. With guidance is great, but we want to make sure it's always in your own words. Some additional factors that actually go into the process. So you'll see that, especially with top universities, or highly selective institutions in the US, like the Ivy League institutions and a number of other colleges after that many colleges in the US have under a 10% acceptance rate, which means only about 1 in 10 students or fewer get into that college when they apply. And so there are many, but there are other factors that are also part of this process. So when we are looking at a student, we're also, asking ourselves, what are our college's priorities for that year? Do we, there's always, we have these things called institutional needs. So it could be that we have a new band program and we want to, have a new band program and we want to make sure that we're, admitting enough students to be in that band. It could be that we have a new varsity sports team and we want to make sure that we can fill that sports team. It could, it can be a number of things that we have. Schools might have a new initiative to increase the number of students who are coming from, from a non-US location, so our international students. So, we look at geographic location. Where does the student come from? In the US, for domestic students specifically, we look at ethnic background. We might look at religious background as a positive. We are looking to see that we want our students to come from diverse backgrounds, have diverse perspectives. And so we really value that here. And those are things that we want to know about in your application. But diversity also can be, what you want to study. We don't want everyone to study biology at our school. We have 40 to 100 different majors or different departments at colleges. So we want to make sure it's not just everybody wants to study bio, but somebody, we hope students also want to be in psychology or anthropology or be in the journalism department, whatever it may be. So we want students who are going to study, who have diversity in their choices of major, diversity in their extracurriculars, and so on. A couple of other things that we don't really have time to get into, though, when we're looking at a student's application is when they decide to apply. We have very different timelines in the US, but early applications typically happen beginning in October or November, the year before you're actually going to attend. And when a student decides to apply, could also be kind of an indicator of how serious the student is about that college. So another thing we do at the Princeton Review is help you kind of strategize, like, when to apply to certain colleges to make sure that you are giving yourself the best chance possible of gaining entrance.